It's an invasive parasite that has decimated fish stocks in some parts of the United States. Whirling disease is now confirmed in the Bow Valley watershed. Experts say it's too early to know how it will impact stocks here, but the province does want you to help stop the spread just in case. Bill Macfarlane reports.
Even in winter, a little warm weather draws anglers to the Bow River.
And just enjoy the water and the environment and the beauty of our province and this area.
It's a world-famous body of water, but last summer a fish was found suffering from whirling disease in Johnson Lake near Banff. It sparked widespread testing in the watershed, turning up 10 more cases.
I haven't seen it personally down here, but I think it's definitely something we should all be watching for, and the active anglers out on the river could really contribute to some of their studies.
The parasite can be lethal to young fish before their cartilage hardens into bone, deforming their skeletons, often causing them to swim in circles. The impact varies widely. In some areas of the U.S., 90% of fish stocks were killed, but in many others, the damage was far less.
There's no indication that whirling disease has had any sort of population level effect on any of the fish populations in Alberta. So we know that it's here, we know that it's in the Bow River and in some of the tributaries, but we don't know how this is going to play out yet.
According to biologists and anglers, it's likely the disease has been present for at least a few years. The question is whether whirling disease has already affected the trout in the watershed, or is it just getting started?
We want to make sure we see all the different sizes of fish, all the different age classes of fish when we're out there as anglers.
The province and Canadian Food Inspection Agency will monitor the Bow River watershed closely over the coming years, asking anyone spending time in the water to carefully wash and dry their boats and equipment before traveling elsewhere, in the hopes it doesn't spread.
You can actually take the felt off the bottom and clean it, or use just the rubber soled. Personally, I try and clean my waders a few times a month if I can. It depends on the area that I'm going to.
Government officials will also be implementing restrictions on fish stocking.
And Bill joins us now live. So Bill, let's say this is just starting. What are observers expecting to see?
Well, Tara, what they're going to be watching for is the age class of fish that they're catching on the river and throughout the watershed. And that's important because the parasite doesn't really have a negative effect on the adults. It's present in them, but it doesn't seem to hurt them. It only hurts them during their development stage. So if suddenly fishermen are no longer catching small juvenile fish, that means that they're not surviving. So that would be a big indicator. Now, one of the reasons to think this won't get too bad here is because for decades there hasn't been any stocking in the river here. And again, through most of the system, they're essentially all wild fish. And those wild fish have generally shown themselves to be more resistant to parasites, including whirling disease. Now, even if there is a hit on the population and we get some version of a worst case scenario here, history has shown in other jurisdictions that the population does eventually bounce back and adapt. So at this point, there's no changes planned to fishing regulations, Tara. And so far, it appears that overall, the fish in this watershed are doing quite well.
Okay, Bill Macfarlane reporting. Bill, thank you.